So let's talk about how bring your own device, the BYOD concept, should work when it is related to data privacy. We'll introduce what BYOD is, the risk, and then how privacy should be taken care of when it comes to BYOD. Welcome to my YouTube channel where you daily see new content on data privacy. And as I said, let's talk about BYOD and how BYOD impacts data privacy. It's a concept where you say that when you hire someone, you don't allocate the device to him. A device, of course, refers largely to laptop. So you hire someone and you don't assign him a laptop. He carries his own laptop for official work. It could be for many reasons. It could be that you want to save your cost. It could be that your employee wants to make it his carry only one or use only one laptop, right? So you are giving that flexibility to someone. But in many cases, there are some organizations who generally have a condition of you carrying your own device, compensating it in some other way, because a lot of remote working is required. And also bring your own device is not a new concept. It has been there for a long time, and is still being used and would be used forever. Might increase in adoption, right? Very common in startups, remote working, and good for cost conscious businesses. They don't spend on large assets in one go. It helps increase the productivity and flexibility. You give flexibility to your team, and of course they become more productive. And but there is a possibility is that privacy could get impacted. What about the personal data of the official customers or official associates that the laptop carries? And what about the personal data of the individual or the employee himself that the laptop carries, right? There is a risk to personal data in both cases. So convenience here should not compromise with compliance. Convenience should not compromise with compliance. What are the key risks? Data security on personal devices. How are they keeping them secure? It's not only on the device, it's also on the network, because you don't know what kind of network are they using from their home when they go home and use the same laptop, and from any other place where they are open up the laptop to use. Uncontrolled app installations, you can't restrict that. Syncing to personal cloud, I mentioned earlier also what happens to the personal data that they have on the laptop versus what happens to the personal data which is of the customers, right? Not their personal. So, and if the laptop is syncing to personal cloud, that carries a bit of a risk, carelessness if it happens, that the data gets carried to the personal cloud. Loss or theft of device, and there's a very thin boundary between personal and business data. See, there's a D drive on the laptop. People will use it. They'll have one folder for the official personal data and they'll have one folder for their personal data. And that would be a very decent way of using it. Good understanding using it that way. So there's a risk of adequate deletion also post resignation, because since the laptop is not in your control, you don't know what happened to the personal data. That's one issue. Actually, that may not even be an issue. Why I'm saying that is because when you resign, you may come to the office and get all the personal data deleted, and someone from IT or HR or admin walks through on the laptop with you, ensuring that there is nothing official on that laptop, right? However, just deletion does not help. You may go back home and undelete it. You may go back home and use some tools to get the data, if not 100%, but maybe some portion of the data out of it. Because generally, what is advised is using a proper, thorough tool that can format the disk, ensuring that the data cannot be recovered. And there are tools available, they are compatible with multiple international standards, and you format the disk with those tools. Whatever was on the disk can now not be recovered. So, for example, there are WhatsApp chats with customer data. Now, that's another risk. WhatsApp chat, right? That actually carries a risk even without your personal laptop. So what should a DPO do? He should have a very clear BYOD policy, which the HR would be having, but now also linked with privacy regulations. Clearly define a lot of things, and we have a checklist also in the next slide. You should maintain security. security through device locks, security through encryption, security through screen locks. Security of the system should be well maintained. You should use mobile device management tools. The applications for official work should run through a separate set of tools, such that when he is working on the official portion of data, he's working on that. And if he wants to go back to personal usage, he exits or log out from that. Right? And then there could also be a DLP kind of a situation where you're not allowed to use a pen drive, you're not allowed to take a printouts, you are not allowed to take screenshots of any official data or any data which you are accessing through the official tools. Right? So your apps are kept very secure. Define what data can be accessed and stored on those laptops. Ensure a remote wipe to the corporate data on exit. However, this would still have that gap of how do you ensure that you have wiped it so much, but then you can have a policy. One could be those MDM type of tools. You can say a remote VDI kind of a situation. So the data is actually not even on the laptop. Or you can have a policy saying that, okay, we need to have a separate drive on the laptop which has official data, so that we have that satisfaction that we have erased that through our specialized tools. Incorporate these clauses in the employment terms also, so that the employees, when they come on with BYOD, they are ready with it. It should not be that they would say, oh, I didn't see BYOD policy. Oh, I didn't see the privacy policy. No. Let's be clear, it's in your employment terms. Include employee acknowledgement and training during onboarding. What are the key elements of the policy? Define permitted and restricted data, mandate device encryption, implement security controls, maybe through the MDM apps or secure app usage, outline the exit procedure and the procedure for erasure of data when the employee exits. Implement employee consent, because you may end up monitoring his laptop if he's using it for both the usages, right? So you need to take his consent and provide him training also on how he has to handle the data. You need to balance employees' convenience with data protection. You have to incorporate things like principle by design in your BYOD processes, so that you can respect their privacy, so that you ensure that there's a minimal access and usage policies, and the DPO has to bridge the gap between IT, HR, and admin roles. He needs to stay active over there. Ensure that even temporary and contract staff follows the bring your own device policy. So that's about having a BYOD policy and making sure that the privacy of customers' personal data or associates' personal data is taken care of while using the device of your employee. I hope you like the content of the video. Please press the bell and the like icon. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and share your feedback in the comment section. Thank you.